Yeah, it is important to keep in mind that this is not exactly the Europe regionals or the qualifiers to a massive offline event. Like, it's a fun Monday night tournament. We are here every single week. Players are very chill about it. That's why you'll see players like Hero Marine stream this without delay. Harstem stream it with no delay. Sometimes Reynor will be streaming it with no delay. Clem will be streaming it without delay. So, of course, we're going to do our best. And if the games are awesome, we'll be serious about it. We'll bring some hype. We'll do some analysis. But it's a lot about having fun. And we've been doing this for almost 200 weeks now, guys. I started casting this tournament at edition number 20. The first 20, I was either traveling or I played in it myself. And then at one point I just said, let's cast it. I started at edition 20 and now we're at edition number 218. And I know 200 sounds like a lot, but if you put it in weeks, that's crazy. It's almost 4 years of me going live pretty much every single Monday. Clem gave us the order. Thank you, mon ami. So we have Oceanborn, Equilibrium, Heartlet, Solaris, and Alcyone. I think that's a relatively normal map order for a high-level TVZ. Let's do it. Prediction is still open. We've got 2.6 million channel points on the line. That's pretty damn crazy. Yes, slowly. I got wrecked because I, on the absolute last night, Todd obviously needed revenge on me. So he asked me, like, yeah, will you come play some poker? Will you come play some poker? But Vicky and I had plans throughout the entire day, so we did everything that we wanted to do. Then when it was close to midnight, Vicky was just super tired, so she says, I'm going to go to the room. And I say, all right, I'll go play some poker with Todd. And I said, I'll play till like 2:15. Like, we had a 5 p.m. flight, so playing till like 2 a.m. was not that bad. But then by the time it was 2 a.m., the clock immediately turned to 3 a.m. And I was like, oh my God. And I have a 10 a.m. alarm because we still needed to get in and out, because that's the one thing we didn't do yet on the trip. So yeah, it happened on my absolute final night, so I lost 1 hour of sleep. It's okay, I slept a bit on the flight home. And I watched Horrible Bosses 1, I watched Horrible Bosses 2. Then I listened to the Joe Rogan podcast with Aaron Rodgers. Oh, that was good. I love it. And then Joe Rogan with Joe Pfeiffer, the MMA fighter. I think, no, Bo Nichols, sorry, no. Wait, who was it? Was it Bo Nichols or Joe Pfeiffer? I fell asleep during that one, so I don't even know. One of the two. I think it was Joe Pfeiffer. Anyway, this is it. Oceanborn Grand Finals, European Pro Tour Weekly number 218. I think it's been a great night. It's good to be back. Hopefully you guys are having fun. Let's do this.
Let's get it on. Round 1. Fight.
Top left side of Oceanborn, we are looking at the main base of Der Rekordmeister, a German word for basically the man who has won the tournament or the league more than anybody else. It used to be Gabe. These days, it's the one, the only.
Liquid Clem.
Got to spend some time with Clem in LA. And as I told you guys earlier, we had a little in-house tournament on the second day. And somehow they created a bracket where I would get this kid in the quarterfinals. And you don't want to play this kid in any game, I'll tell you that much. I was really, I wouldn't say I was molding, because obviously we were having a fun time. But it was like, oh, come on. Give me anybody other than Clem. I think there were 2 guys that I absolutely did not want to play early. And that were Clem and Parting, because they are both incredibly talented video gamers. More talented than me. And then I got Clem in the quarterfinals. And he 3-0'd me. Shocker, right? Shocker. In what game? I can't tell you. Bottom right side of Oceanborn, we are looking at the main base. The man who had a good time in Dubai. Hang out with Max and a bunch of other Red Bull athletes. But he's back. I think still in Italy. But it's about time that this kid comes back to the Netherlands. I want to play some padel and have some good times. This is BASILISK Reynor. Thank you, Dr. GIT, for the 35 months. Go, Jack Frost. The Jack Frost era is no more, mate. He has lost all of his white hairs, blonde hairs, whatever you want to call it. That era is gone. It was not a very successful era. It's an era that Reynor wants to forget about. I don't know what era we are in right now, but it's a different Reynor. Overall, I think that Reynor looks slightly more handsome when his hair is not crazy long. When he went Jack Frost and he said he also got a haircut, his hair still looked so freaking long. I was like, bro, did you even cut your hair? As Clem, by the way, snipes the first creep tumor. That's big. And Clem is gonna go for them Cyclones. So probably 2 Cyclones into Hellions into triple base setup. I think this is the build that Reynor spoke about a while ago that he thinks is incredibly good. Bagheera with the 108 months. Legend. Did you see Ryan Garcia things? No, I did not see anything of Ryan Garcia. I know he did an interview with Ariel Helwani about how he was fighting with Oscar de la Hoya, but now they're good again. But that's, I don't think you're talking about that. Check 1-0 redeemed serious prediction about the upcoming match. It's tough. I think Clem 3-2. My official prediction today is Clem 3-2. That's what I think. And let's see if the old man still got it. Reynor has snuck a bunch of Zerglings very early to the other side of the map, and Clem has not seen this yet, guys. Let's go ahead and follow Clem's first-person view for a little bit, as Clem is very focused on his Reaper, 2 Hellions, and the Cyclones, and now all the Lings are going to show up. Immediately raises the depots, but there are still so many SCVs on the low ground. This could get bad, but so far it's actually not that bad for Clem. He's not done yet. Brought back the other Hellions. I still like it for Reynor. 4 SCVs this early before the 5-minute mark. I think that's a little victory for Reynor. I did not watch the Ngannou fight live, but I did see the replay. Great moment for Anthony Joshua. I kind of like Anthony Joshua. I think he's a good guy. I know he had a couple of painful defeats against Usyk, but I like that. And that also makes everybody excited for Fury against Joshua again. So. This is a good fight for Clem. Reynor does have another tiny counterattack. He's killing a few more SCVs, but killing SCVs is not going to be good enough if we end up losing all of our queens. Killing 7 SCVs now, 8 SCVs. I mean, they're both dealing a lot of damage to each other. These boys are just swinging for the fences. If Reynor gets a few more SCVs, I would say it's good, but he doesn't. He is, however, already sneaking roaches and ravages to the other side of the map, and Clem has completely missed this. Clem does not have a bunker in the natural. Clem does not have a tank. I mean, these roaches and ravages are going to get the 1-0 lead for Reynor here, right? Is there a world where Clem survives this? He does have Stim, but he has 4 Marines. The roaches and ravages have revealed themselves. The link count is high too. Reynor has spoken a lot about becoming a bit less predictable, and it's not always all about all-out macro. It is about making a lot of units early as well and trying to punish the greed of your opponent, trying to catch them off guard, and this is good enough. Man, what a game by Reynor. Run by after sneaking out a bunch of roaches and ravages, and Clem just did not see it. Was very focused on the third base, a bit tunnel visioned almost. And Reynor takes the 1-0 lead on Oceanborn as well. How long until the LA thing reveal? Sometime soon, matey. Sometime soon. Soon TM. I really wish that I could tell you guys. It pains me not to share more, because I am really excited over it. And this is not a sellout segment or anything. Like, I don't get anything from telling you guys that I'm excited. If I'm not all that excited, I would still be like respectful, obviously, and be like, oh, you know, you guys will see. That's it. And then there's only talk about other stuff. But I'm very excited for this, and I hope a lot of you guys will be too. Sometime soon. And I do warn you guys that it's not going to be for everyone. Even everyone that was there did not necessarily like it as much as I did. So don't get your Omega hopes up and think that I am promising you the world. Because if you then don't like it, you're going to be disappointed in my hype. But I personally think it's sick. And I do really mean that. Now, it's obviously hard as well to have like a proper opinion if you've only seen something for 2 days. It's different if you play a game for 2 months or even 2 years, right? Like, how much will you like it then? I obviously can't say. But for the 2 days of experience that I had, I am excited. Equilibrium, map 2. So Reynor takes the 1-0 lead on one of Clem's favorite maps, Oceanborn. And that makes for a very spicy finals of this edition of the European Pro Tour Weekly.
Round 2, fight!
This man, though, has looked damn good on this map. A map that a lot of people think is the best or second best Zerg map in the current map pool. Clem hates Ratuset more than he hates Equilibrium. That's why he always vetoes Ratuset, and then Reynor can pick this map. But I think the last 3 times that I played on this map, I feel like this guy won all 3. Representing Team Liquid, it is Clem. Reynor definitely is the kind of guy to get a little mad if I ever give him a handicap prediction that's not in his favor. He'll be like, the disrespect. Goes for a very early pull here. I believe this was a 14 pull here on Equilibrium, representing Basilisk. It is Reynor taking the 1-0 lead off the back of 2 great Link run-bys and then a devastating Roach Ravager attack. Clem was just not ready. No tanks, no bunkers, and nothing. You think Max Verstappen gave Reynor some strategies in Dubai? I have the feeling that at an event like that, even if it's like a Red Bull private event and it's only Red Bull athletes, it's still, I think, very hard to spend a lot of time with Verstappen. Because probably everyone that's there wants to say a couple words to him, wants to get a picture. And I didn't really get to talk to Reynor in detail about it. He showed the picture, he said it was awesome. He seemed to have a great time in Dubai, but I don't know how much he really got to talk with Max. Max is very vocal in a lot of his interviews, and when I say Max, I don't mean Max Specs, I mean Max Verstappen, or Max Verstappen as we say. I don't think that Max really enjoys a lot of those like PR events or like Red Bull events. Maybe this is a bit more fun because it's private and it's not necessarily public, but I don't know. I hope he had fun. And I'm sure he was incredibly humbled to meet the big Italian stallion. No matter how many races you win and have won, meeting Reynor hits different. Reynor has snuck a couple of slow circlings to the other side of the map. Clem has gone Reaper, Marine, Reactor, and right when that Reaper is all the way on the other side of the map, Reynor, his Zerglings show up. Clem is obviously going to be very happy that at least he built one Marine here. Because if you don't even have that single Marine, this becomes omega awkward. The Reaper is on his way home. The Reapers are quick. This is going to be a bit close, but I think in the end Clem will be able to save this command center. And he's actually still saving the SCV as well. Let's see if Clem can keep on saving it. SCV is very low in HP, but so far the SCV is alive. The SCV stays alive. Great micro by Clem. Reactor, however, is in a bit of trouble, and his Reaper has his work cut out for him. That SCV is one hit away from dying. Reynor wants to get that final tap off. Does not get it. Turns around these 2 links as well. Reynor really wants that SCV. Can he get it? All that effort. Oh,
Are you not entertained?
Yeah, that's how hard you sometimes have to work to pick off a single SCV from a man like Clem. Now, Clem was floating a lot of money while he was microing his bot off over there. And obviously his build order is disrupted because now it takes a little while for this command center to finish up. And it is just a 2-base opening for now, so he went starport before 3rd command center. That probably has something to do with the fact that the Link showed up before the Reaper could really get into the natural, into the main. So he's just got no idea what Reynor's follow-up is. Very often when Zergs open up with an early pool and sneak a couple Links to the other side of the map, there is a follow-up very aggressive attack. And as a Terran, if your build is already slowed down by those Links showing up and the Reaper is out of position and you don't have a scout, it's so risky to drop a 3rd CC. I think they have already announced all the dates for the qualifiers for the Europe Regionals, America Regionals. And I know that a lot of people look at the online events and be like, oh, but that's not a big event. All the big events are offline. Like, now those online regionals, guys, are really big. The prize pool is like the same as for the offline event. And it's just there to support regional StarCraft. To not make it that you always have to beat Serral to win prize money. So I think those are going to be fun. I definitely look forward to covering all the qualifiers, and hopefully I look forward to covering the main event as well. I assume I'm going to be a part of it, but I did not get any invites yet. No. First Banshee is going to show up in the back of the main. Reynor is looking for a tiny run by, and it's actually going to work because the wall-off has not been completed yet, so Reynor will find some damage. The Banshee, however, is also going to town on the drones and has apparently found that very tiny window right before that Spore Crawler is done. Maybe if he activated Cloak earlier, he could have gotten a few more, but... Reynor really wanted that worker, and he got that worker. 6 minutes into Equilibrium, Reynor is looking at a 10 worker lead, but his lair tech is not necessarily omega quick. This is a really good Zerg map because of the Mega Base. And if you guys haven't watched too much StarCraft lately, Mega Base, gold minerals, and a rich Vespian Geyser. And especially the rich Vespian Geyser is something that Zerg players will really enjoy, because then they can spam 20 more banelings than they usually can. You save a bunch of drones. Obviously, you also save drones by getting your hands on the gold. Reynor has no Overseer, so he's going to morph the first Overseer. It's a little bit late, though. These two benches are going to get a lot of shots off. This is where Clem needs to move those benches immediately, because that Overseer is about to finish up. There is a Spore Crawler here, too. Reynor moves the drones. High-level play by both of them. It's so nice to see how... You know, Clem doesn't wait with moving his units until the detection is there. He's going to move them like 1-2 seconds right before that Overseer is done. So these benches will keep most of their HP and they can still be active. So low, but still good. 4 more drones fall, so it's 9 drones in total. I think that Clem is pretty happy with this. Now that doesn't mean that I think he's winning this game, because this is a really good Zerg map. Reynor seems to be playing very well today. He's on point with his run-bys and whatnot. When is the GOAT playing? Well, Serral will absolutely be playing in the Europe Regionals. I actually spent my entire, what was it, Saturday night talking to a guy that is a poker dealer in the win. But he's also just a StarCraft fan, and he likes to play some cards at other poker rooms. So he was hanging out with Todd, and then Todd is like, hey man, I have a guy here that wants to meet you. And his name was Tom, very nice dude. And he's like, alright Roddy, I need to ask you, Serral or Maru? And I was like, Serral, of course. He's like, He's like, I've got a good friend, and we're always arguing over, like, who's the GOAT, Serral or Maru? And he's a big Maru fan, and I'm a Serral fan. That's kind of cute. I met quite a few, like, random StarCraft fans over the few days in Vegas. At one point, somebody at the poker table asked me what I was doing for a living, as we have a few banelings rolling into Hellions, and now all the lings are going to show up as well, but the benches are here, the Marines are here. I think this worked out for Clem. So they're like, oh, StarCraft, that's the game that the Koreans are very good in, right? And I was like, yeah, they still are, but it's not all about the Koreans. And then one guy with a big beard, I think he was from Minnesota, on the other side of the table, he's like, these days it's all about that guy from Finland. And I was like, yeah. And then one other dude chipped in the conversation. He's like, oh yeah, I used to watch a bit of that. Man, that game is crazy. So out of like 9 random people at the poker table, 4 people were aware of StarCraft. And I thought that was kind of cool. Bunch of Marines stimming down this ramp, gunning down an Overseer, as the Queens are going to try to buy some time. Reynor is temporarily supply blocked. One Overlord is not going to cut it, Reynor. You're going to need a few more. This is a moment where I would love to see Reynor just queue up like 7 Overlords. Clem not paying attention. These banelings finding really big connections. I mean, Reynor, guys, is playing a bit of an all-in style. A while ago, they had an absolutely epic game. Clem is just not paying attention. More banelings rolling into his army as a big Ling Bane counterattack is happening, or run-by, we should call it. Reynor was already attacking. Is this good enough for Reynor, though? Like, yes, he's gonna find damage. But Reynor, guys, is stuck on lair tech. No infestation pit. Drone count 68. Sure, he's got the mega base, but Reynor needs more than what he's getting so far. This might be that Ling run-by that is going to give him what he's looking for. He's floating 2,000 minerals. Honestly, it's very uncharacteristic of Reynor to float that much money, but I guess it has to do with the mega base, and that just makes things a bit different. How many Widow Mines are left? 7. Not good enough, Reynor. Not good enough for the Italian Stallion. 20 SCVs obviously is great, but not good enough. Huh? Now we're gonna drop the RotterdaM. 11 more drones on the way. Maybe there's more hatcheries. Yeah, that's exactly what he does. This base is absolutely fantastic, but these minerals and even the rich Vespian guys, they do run out rather quickly. Clem is going to have an upgrade advantage, guys, in the next 30 seconds. We have drilling claws as well. I'm a bit worried for Reynor. Reynor's just had a very difficult time spending his money, trying to spam as many Lings and Banes as humanly possible. One Widow Mine shot goes off. The other 2 mines did not fire, so this went about as good, I think, as it ever could go for Reynor. Doesn't turn it into a victory. Look at Clem's money, guys. Look at Reynor's money. A big difference in the macro between these two. Clem is emptying his jeans and spending every single penny that he can find. Meanwhile, Reynor is living that mansion life. Now it's going to be a bit easier as he's going to queue up a bunch of Hydras, but Mhm. 43 Marines, 12 Widowmines, 2 Banshees. On creep, obviously, I think Reynor's army is still pretty good. Widowmines here, one of them gets a really good shot off. Reynor tried to split off a Ling, but it was the wrong one. And Clem's so on point with his upgrades, guys. The 2 Cloak Banshees from the very beginning of the game, they're still finding damage as well. Clem, oh my goodness, these Widowmine shots are just getting bigger, and I think Reynor really is getting punished for just sitting on a little too much money. Did not transition when I think he could have transitioned, found some damage, but if we're hard stuck at 68 workers, and we can't build anything else other than Lings and Banes, I should say, then we really need to spend our money properly. In the end, the Lings and Hydras do kind of win this fight at the bottom side of the map. More Widowmines getting picked up, but Clem's got so many. We've got 11 Widowmines, and at this point, since all the action, all the battling is taking place on the right side of the map, Clem is comfortable enough to take the planetary fortress. He's also going to enjoy a little economic boost. 12 minutes in. I think Equilibrium looks great for a Liquid Claymore. Reynor is kind of hard stuck on Lair Tech. We still do not have that Infestation Pit. Hydroling Bane is obviously good, but it's supposed to be like up in workers, heavily up in supply, and find non-stop damage. If you ever find yourself as a Zerg just defending on Hydroling Bane Lair Tech, 12 minutes into a game against a 5-base Terran, you know that a thing or two has not gone your way. This is a large map though, and it is hard for Clem to just capitalize on the advantage he's creating for himself and get Reynor out of this game. Now we are dropping in the main. Still active with an army over here in the bottom side of the map as well. Reynor is going to lose one of these macro hatches, and this is where the Evo chambers are too. At the moment it's 2-2 against 2-2, but Clem is 45 seconds away from having +3 attack and +3 armor. It's going to make it so much more difficult for Lair Attack Reynor to get great trades here. It's a beautiful game by Clem, guys, showing us that it's really not all about the maps. There's one more Widowmine in the mix here. That one does not fire. Certain races are definitely better than other races on maps, and no one is going to tell you that Zerg is not good on this map against Terran, but if you bring your A game, if you're sharp and you play well, you can still overcome that little deficit too. And if you find Widowmine shots like that, yeah, you're going to have a great time on any map. As the double drop is active here, kill that. A triangle hatchery is going to fly over the Queens now, and the Hydras, one of the Medivacs does go down. And Clem is just finding absolutely phenomenal trades. 8,000 resources more have gone down on the side of Reynor, who's setting up a tiny surround here, guys, but there's a Widowmine there. Just gets a big connection on the Zerglings. Can the Banelings connect? Not really. I mean, sure, Clem loses a little, but I feel Reynor lost more there. It feels to me that this is all Claymore. I think Reynor knows that as well. Reynor must know that these fights have not gone good enough. Now, if we snipe these Medivacs with cargo, Reynor grabs an empty one as the boost is ready once more. That could have been a bit of a game changer, right? If you find 4 Medivacs that are carrying all these bio units, but it is not. Clem's macro has been, in my eyes, picture perfect in this game. If you guys can find one little moment where you feel that he slipped up, something that he should have done quicker, let me know, but maybe right now we could have dropped the second starport, but if we say that, you're going to see a second starport in the next 30 seconds. I think Clem has played a beautiful game. As more big Widowmine shots go off, Reynor knows that he is on the clock, as this army for him is not going to get any better. The only thing that I'm missing on Clem's side is a second starport. Then you can get some advanced ballistics, and you can build Medivacs and Liberators at the same time, but even without that, a close to perfect game by Clem. Feel like he played it very well. Reynor is going to try to turn this around with Burrowed Baglings. He still has some supply, he has some money, he's got an army. Okay, yeah, the great equalizer. Why not? If we've got Hive Tech and we're working on +3 melee and we've got some Lurkers, no Seismic Spines yet, no Adaptive Talents. Maybe that here is our second starport, by the way, guys. Second starport and a fusion core for the advanced ballistics. I think the only thing that can bring Reynor truly back in this game is a successful Nidus. either in between the bases of Clem or deep inside of the main. But you're gonna need more than just a couple lurkers. You're gonna need like 7 lurkers to get out of that Nidus immediately for it to really be scary. You can make a highlight reel with my shots alone, and you can add those 2 to the highlight reel as well. Reynor also lends a good fungo though. Good fungo with a couple of nice Baneling connections, but... Oh. Okay, my monitor just went off there for a split second. I have no idea what I did, but we are back. I think it's my cable management. We have a Sharking Infestor as well in the center of the map. Little guessing game, guys. A 17-minute video game. How many Zerglings have fallen in this 17-minute video game? Maybe I brought it up before and I didn't actually look at the numbers. I don't know if I showed it to you guys earlier. I think we're looking at like 540 links going down. Maybe that's a bit much, but... Oh, 514. 514, so I was only up by 26 links. Not too bad. Gonna be a whole lot more after these exchanges. Is this... Oh, guys? Is this the great equalizer that Reynor is looking for? I do think sometimes back of that game that we saw on Hardlet, where it felt like Clem was winning, Clem was winning, Clem was winning, and then Reynor did run 7 lurkers to the other side of the map. There is hype, mate. Definitely hype. You can't fire up +3 melee without a hype. +3 melee is somewhat close to finishing up. Reynor landing a great fungal there from that Sharking Infestor. Is that good enough to get on top of the goals? Well, a couple of the Banelings connect. I'd say this is the best fight that Reynor has taken throughout this entire game, as he now drops the Nidus for the immediate reinforcements. Is it just like a day late and $1 short, or does it still matter? I mean, obviously it matters, but does it matter enough to really start believing in a Reynor victory? This is a great Zerg map, but it's mostly a great Zerg map because of that moment between, let's say, minute 5 and minute 12, where it's so difficult for a Terran to really keep up economically with the Zerg, find good trades, find economic damage. Clem has survived that very scary part. That makes this a great Zerg map. And at this point, it's not necessarily a great Zerg map anymore, unless Clem does this. Claymore, 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 with the biggest mistake of the game, as he runs headfirst into a couple of lurkers that were already burrowed. I mean, that happens one more time and I will start becoming a believer. I think at this point, I still like Clem's setup. He's got advanced ballistics. He's got air armor as well for those lips. He's got plenty of ghosts, plenty of lips. I think he's going to be okay, and a couple of lurkers won't kill him. Whatever happened here, and obviously that big fungal in the center of the map, that cannot keep on happening. Oh, Polska Vodka only off by 4 Zerglings. Nice guess, mate. Very solid guess. I like my guess too, I thought it was pretty good, but yeah, yours is even better. Well done. Reynor trying to get a Nidus up in the back of the main, and at the same time shoving a lot of Lings, Banes and Hydras on top of a Planetary at the bottom. I hope for Reynor that he gets this PF, because if he doesn't, this was an incredibly expensive attack. He gets the Planetary, he gets 14 SCVs as well, now continues by the way, wants to get on top of these lips, and why the hell not? He's got enough Hydras, yeah, this really is going somewhere. Clem has lost a lot of goals, still has 9 of them remaining. Losing a few SCVs is not bad. Why are we building Cyclones? Oh, Nidus actually come online. We don't mind killing a lurker, and that's an interaction we don't see very often. I think Reynor is maybe getting a bit too carried away right now on the bottom side of the map. Can we do more with that Nidus? Answer I think is no. Look at that look at that Cyclone, guys. Cyclone trying to avoid the lurker spikes. Good little micro battle here. Reynor found damage, gets the Planetary, gets 23 SCVs, but he did not get most of the army. Now this is risky by Clem, by the way, because if Clem loses these units, oh boy, would he be in trouble. Clem at the moment, guys, has 200 gas. Infestor on barrels, lands a fungal. Is that good enough for the Hydras? Oh yes it is, because another fungal lands. And Reynor does get these medevacs, and Reynor gets all the goals. Well, never mind. Okay, good split up there by Reynor as he shows up right before this Planetary is done. Clem needs to pretty much grab all of his units right now, guys, to keep this PF alive, because losing it twice within a minute, that is going to be very painful. There are no SCVs to repair it here, and Clem will end up losing this Planetary twice. And have to lose. He's got 0 ghosts. He's got 0 goals. I think this goals move out here was a bit unnecessary. Now Clem is still harassing that base with a Liberator as well on the bottom side of the map. And Reynor is still kind of broke. So yes, it looks like Reynor is winning. But is he really winning? Reynor needs more. And well, he's looking for more. Running into a bunch of Widow Mines right now off creep. But not the biggest shots. The Liberator gets picked off. Getting very close. Clem definitely doing a good job harassing with double lib even on the top side of the map. A Viper shows up. Viper dies immediately. The Hydras though, do we have a good enough answer? Nice blinding cloud by Reynor. Is going to push all these units forward. And after 22 minutes, it is actually Reynor who takes the 2-0 lead. And he settles that prediction. Damn, what a comeback by Reynor. He was in so much trouble. I think that the ghost attack in the bottom side really was not it for Clem. And it looked like he was going to get away with it. Like at this point, guys, 172 supply, 170, 116 army supply against 87. And they have similar money. I don't think it looks that bad yet for Clem. This move out was just not really necessary. And it could have gone bad. He thinks he gets away with it. But then that one Sharking Infestor. Back-to-back fungals. Maybe if Clem would have unloaded one ghost earlier, dropped an EMP, drained that Infestor from its energy, then he actually would not have been able to land the second fungal. And Clem did think about it, but just a little bit too late. Man. Sick victory by Reynor. Very well done. Had to work incredibly hard for it. And gets rewarded for all of his efforts and struggles in the end. Definitely, I think a strong game by Clem for the longest time. Looking at workers active. Looking at resource collection rate. Reynor obviously is going to take the lead because of the mega base early, but eventually you guys can see that even Clem started mining a bit more. Fantastic game. Fantastic game 2. And that will settle the prediction. Those Hydras. In the end, it's always the Hydra, guys. When the Zergies have their backs up against the wall, it is always the Hydras. Clem is in the replay. He's going to go over a couple of the moments. He's probably wondering where that went wrong, because I'm sure that he also felt that this was kind of his game and that he had momentum on his side, that he survived the difficult part of Equilibrium, and that he was supposed to play the kind of game that he enjoys the most. And I think he will also look at some of these final moments where it's like, hey, it's fine. It's still fine. It's still fine. But that Infestor, guys, that was a game-winning Shark Fester. Back-to-back fungals. Well done. Sometimes they agree to play best of 3. Haha, I was just checking if this was a normal best of 5. I legitimately think that has never happened before, guys. I legitimately think that has never happened before. I don't think a grand finals of the weekly ever got casually turned into a best of 3. I'm going to take a very tiny break. I'll give you guys a new prediction, and after that I'll be back. Game 3 coming up. Thank you to Romo for the 27 months. I mean, throw is a big word, but I do think that Clem was winning that game and was supposed to win. 52% of you guys thought this was going to be a 3-0 or 3-1. Instead, it is Reynor who wins 2 maps, and he wins the first 2 maps. I'm back. The nerds are almost ready. They needed a tiny break as well. Great series so far. Fun Monday night, guys. Couple of great games. Semifinals was great. Grand finals is great. How long do the patches in PTR last typically? I think a week, 2 weeks maybe? Do we even have a test server right now? I saw the announcement of the patch obviously while I was on the road, but I don't know if we have a test server or not. It feels that obviously the changes are impactful, especially I think in PvT, but I don't know if it's really like enough game change to justify an entire test server. But maybe it's just to make sure that there are no bugs, right? I think that's probably the biggest point of running a PTR for the upcoming patch. And in case you guys missed it, it has a lot to do with Sentries dealing a bit more damage, the Widowmine got nerfed a little, the Cyclone got changed again. I read over the Cyclone changes, but that's the kind of stuff where if I read all of it, I still don't really know what that means. I actually need to just play. As I always do, I just play games and then I form my own opinion. I don't really form opinions by reading patch notes. But I think it got well received, so if the community is happy, I'm happy. Let's go ahead and hop into Game 3 of the Grand Finals of the European Pro Tour Weekly number 218.
Round 3. Fight!
Reynor chilling in the chat. 52% loses, Matt. So there's a lot of channel points as well. Top left side of Hardlat taking the 2-0 lead. Seems like that little Dubai trip was good for our boy. But can he close it out? It wouldn't be the first time ever that he takes a 2-0 lead against Clem and it still goes wrong. This is BASILISK Reynor. We had the grand finals of the Europe Regionals once, which is a much bigger event than the weekly. First place for the upcoming Europe Regionals I think is $15,000, so that's the same as Atlanta. I don't know if it was $15,000 back then as well, because that was kind of like the COVID era or the end of the COVID era. I wasn't really COVID era anymore, it was already kind of past it, but we still had the regionals, like we currently do. And Reynor won the winner bracket, so he got the 1-0 lead in the grand finals. He won the first 2 games of the grand finals, so he took a 3-0 lead in the best of 7. And that was the map pool of Stargazers, Waterfall, Moondance, Inside and Outside, etc. Reynor was up 3-0. But in the end, it was this guy who ruined our little house party as we were all here cheering for Reynor. And he won 4 games in a row to once more crown himself European champ. That guy is the one and the only
Liquid Clem.
So don't count him out just yet. Just like Reynor, he was also on the road. Much bigger time difference between the West Coast and Europe than between Dubai and Europe. I think Dubai is like 1 or 2 hours ahead. Meanwhile, LA was 9 hours behind. But I think Clem traveled back on the Wednesday, so he should be pretty much recovered by now. That should not be an excuse. But we can always use it as an excuse. If you really want to make an excuse for your favorite pro gamer. Jet lag. Has worked for a long time in the StarCraft 2 scene. I'm telling you guys, I don't think it's over yet. I really do not think it's over yet. Because it's not like Reynor has completely dominated Clem 2 games in a row. I think instead of focusing only on the scoreline, the outcome of the game, you have to look at how we got there, right? I think in game 2, a map that is very good for Zerg, the best Zerg map that Reynor will play in the grand finals. Clem was winning for the longest time. Played an incredibly good game, looked sharper, looked better than Reynor. And game 1 was a bit of a one-off victory where Reynor snuck a bunch of roaches and ravages to the other side of the map. Doesn't mean it's not impressive. Doesn't mean Reynor didn't work hard for that victory and deserves it. But 2 games that you don't really want to replicate. You don't really want to once more rely on a bunch of roaches and ravages running to the other side of the map without your opponent knowing. And you don't once more want to rely on the best Zerg map that you can no longer play on. And an absolute magical shark infester 20 minutes into the game, landing 2 sick fungals on Medevacs carrying Ghost. So I don't think it's over yet, but obviously it's looking good for Reynor. But I would still give Clem here, I think I gave him at least a 30% to still win this grand finals. And I'm a Reynor fan. He's my teammate, he's my friend. That's my honest opinion. I give him at least 30%. And if he gets 3-0, you guys can say, "Ah, Roddy, idiot." I'll take it. That is how I feel. Gemini made a video about the changes. Sounds cool. I love Gemini. He always does a good job. He always does a good job with the map pool wall off thingies, where he takes all the pictures and he shows us plebs how to wall off, and then we all ignore it and find our own terrible wall offs. But I like those little articles by Gemini. Sorry, I say a couple of things that absolutely make no sense, guys. Halfway through the sentence, I realize that what I'm saying is absolutely awful English, and I try to save it. Sometimes I can. More often than not, I cannot. I'm obviously a little bit brain dead. Very long day for me. I don't even know if it's morning, afternoon, or evening for me at this point, but we're here. I think we had a good time. Happy that I was able to go live immediately with the weekly. Looking forward to a fun week of StarCraft 2. Also, a little shout out to all the nerds that want to play in the big rain bouts upcoming Friday. I have 0 registered players at the moment for upcoming Friday, so this is your time to let me know in the Discord channel that you want to play upcoming Friday. No matter your MMR, if you're 5k or higher, you can always try. Let me know you want to play. Tomorrow I do matchmaking. Probably after my stream though. But feel free to ping me in my Discord in the BBB channel. Let me know that you're down. Literally 0 players at the moment. Most of the time I promise 1, 2, 3 players in advance that they can play. At the moment I've got 0. So plenty of opportunity. And if you don't know what the big brain bouts is, exclamation mark BBB. Clem activates a cloak on the 2 Banshees in the center of the map, but Reynor has an overseer here, but the Banshees can't really take this fight against all the Hellions and the Queens rather cannot take this fight against all the Hellions and the Banshees at the same time. In the end though, good crisis management by Reynor. Kills a Hellion, loses 1 Queen. I think that's acceptable. What are Roddy's thoughts on the patch? I think it's awesome that the community seems to be happy, because I believe that is very important for people to get a bit more excited over streams, over tournaments, and just feel better about the scene overall. I read the changes, I think it's nice. Do I think it's going to change that much? No. I think that the players that are currently winning will still be winning. Because I believe that they are winning because they are the best, and not because they are getting carried by their race or a patch, but maybe the life on the ladder for the average Joe will be a bit better, right? I think for a lot of the Protoss players between, let's say, 4,500 MMR and 6k MMR, I think the life will be a bit better in PvT. So if it makes them happy, awesome. But it's not like we had a shortage of Protoss players on the ladder, so I don't know if that really means great things for StarCraft necessarily. But yeah, it seems good. For me, I always, as I said before, I really need to play before I have a strong opinion. I'm just happy that you nerds are happy. Reynor is sending it, guys. An absolute full Max Verstappen with probably a couple of Queens and Dropper Lords as well, as he feels that Clem likes to be a greedy boy and goes straight into Widow Mines. Did Clem throw down his trademark scan in the natural? Yep, it seemed... Oh, was this a Bailing Nest? I think I maybe missed a very pivotal point, guys, of this game. But what Clem likes to do is at a certain point scan the natural. Clem threw down a scan. He saw a building here. That building got cancelled. I believe that that building was a Bailing Nest. If Clem sees a Bailing Nest there, he thinks he plays against a Ling Bane. And then maybe like some Roaches Ravages later on. Reynor cancelled it and he goes for an all-out shove of Roaches and Ravages, and that is going to be incredibly good against the Clem, who has no idea that this is coming. He's now going to see all the Queens of creep though. This is actually going to give Clem at least a heads up that this is coming, but he's got no tanks. Clem has no tanks. Reynor is going to lose 5 Queens full of energy. That is omega painful. 4 Queens rather. As we have another fight happening on the left side of the map. And the supplies though, there's so much freaking supply. At least there are Banshees and there is very little that shoots up. But Reynor has successfully whamboozled Clem. Clem's got 0 tanks, and you need tanks to deal with this kind of stuff. And ideally you get a bunch of bunkers as well. Clem drops a mule to temporarily keep these units at bay. Clem holds this. He's an absolute god. He's down over 40 supplies, trying to crank out these tanks. The Banshee's still doing their thing, but 1 Banshee has died to Corrosive Ball. At the moment it's only 8 SCVs dying. Reynor needs a whole lot more. Oh, somebody is lagging. Are you kidding me? Who the hell is lagging? Cosmos, my matey. Matey. This is not the moment. Oh. Skella says I want to play. Discord, mate. Cosmos has left the game. Clem is going to pull all the SCVs immediately. Marines stim forward again. Does Clem have enough Marines left over? At the moment it's only 15. 1 Banshee is still firing away. 1 tank is coming in from the back. Clem, I think he might be able to hold this at least for now. But obviously there is more Zerkarm. The swarm is not done yet. This is an unsieged tank that is really living his best Brad Pitt Fury life. There are still so many Roaches and Ravages showing up. But it's only 16 SCVs. If Clem can just siege up a couple of tanks, there is high ground vision here for Reynor. A single corrosive ball would be good enough, but he does not get it. As he's now dropping Queens in the face of Clem. Would this be the hold of a lifetime? It's so sad for Clem that these tanks got picked off. 2 tanks died. As Reynor is now dropping Queens, they are transfusing each other. Clem's pulling as many SCVs as he can. More Marines popping, but it's only 9 Marines. That just is not good enough, as that 1 low HP tank gets picked off as well. And I think in the end, it is going to be Reynor who gets the job done. Clem is throwing down the desperation scans. It is a 3-0 victory, guys, for the Italian Stallion. He hang out with Max, and he's turning into Max. And you win every race by 20 seconds. I'll win Grand Finals 3-0. Sick. Well done by Reynor. I wonder how that would have gone if that second factory was on the high ground. Let's go back to, I think, a very important moment that I did not show you guys. I think it happened around here. So Clem has a 3-base setup. And I think right here. So it didn't totally work out the timing, but it kind of worked out, right? I think the scan was a few seconds before The Baneling Nest got dropped. But Clem maybe still bought it.
Research.
It was actually like right on the dot, so it felt very real. The moment that Clem threw down that scan, that Baneling Nest got dropped. So Clem feels he doesn't need tanks, he goes straight into Widow Mines. Reynor is like, ah, it's links and banes, mate. Links and banes, build mines. The moment the scan is done, Reynor cancels that Baneling Nest immediately. And he cranks out 1,000,000 roaches. Now, screen's getting caught off creep there. Was a bit awkward for Reynor. Maybe slowed it down a little, but since Clem likes to build his second factory on the low ground, you can basically only safely build one tank at a time. And I also think one very big moment in this attack being successful is that Reynor killed one of the Banshees. I think with Ravages, because I don't think the Queens were quite there yet. Like 2 Banshees wailing away at these units non-stop all day, every day. Like, that's big. Because this actually got kind of close for a little while. And imagine if Reynor or if Clem had double full HP Banshee here for all this time. It really could have made the difference. And you see this tank coming out of the factory, but awkward place for the tank. Maybe Clem could have like immediately split one medevac up, boost it forward, pick up this tank and then drop it on the high ground here and siege it up. You know, maybe with those 2 changes you can still turn this into a hold. You immediately save that tank like he saves this tank for a while. You have 2 Banshees and you have that one tank that popped out of that second factory, you drop it on the high ground. Maybe that would have made the difference because it got very close. And if Clem holds with anything more than 40 SCVs and he's got 1-1 bio, double factory, I think he'd be good. But he wasn't good in the end. GG. Very strong performance by Reynor in the weekly. Reynor is letting me know that this is all on me. Fuck, you fired me up real good, giving me the handicap, dick. That's what I do, mate. Fire. Fuel that fire. Ah, 3-0, big win. Reynor gets another weekly victory on the board, guys. Second 3-0 over Clem as well. In not too many weeks. Impressive. Reynor did have somewhat of a bumpy ride. Dropped the map to Calazur, and I think that was a very close series. You guys told me that even game 2 was very close, and Calazur almost had it. Had a very close series with Max Pax. Well, was dominant in the grand finals. 2-1 quarterfinals, 2-1 semis, but a trio in the grand finals. The Italian Stallion still got it. Maybe it was just that Jack Frost era, guys. Maybe that's the era that was just holding our boy back a tiny bit. Well done. GG. All of Reynor's future predictions should never have handicap. He'll never lose. Well, I don't make the predictions because I think that's right. I make the predictions based on how I think you guys vote. And since the voting in the end went 52%, 48%, I think that my prediction was right. Or at least the way that I set the line. I just try to predict your betting behavior, guys. And I try to make close predictions. At least initially, right? Once the series is going, there is not too much that I can do anymore. Reynor 3-0 is the end. GG's. That is going to do it for this edition of the European Pro Tour Weekly. Feels good to be back. I am happy to be back. I think I had a fun time. Tomorrow we'll definitely do just a regular ladder stream. If you guys enjoy watching me lose, tomorrow is just a fantastic day to tune in. My first StarCraft 2 games after 8 days of not playing. Oh, baby, that's a banger. If you guys like pain, frustration, and wonder if this game ever gets the best of me on my old age, yeah, tomorrow is a great day to tune in. What time am I going to be live? I've got no idea. I've got a few things to take care of in the morning, and then I'm just going to start playing. So maybe like 1 p.m., 2 p.m. I think that's a good time to start, and I think I'll get a lot of games in. So hopefully at the end of the day, I feel a little bit better than I did in the beginning of the day.